Hi everyone, this is Angie Norris. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I am going to be doing a book review tonight on the book Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe by Heather Weber. This is if I had to call it a genre, I would say it was a historical fiction, but it does have some magical fantasy aspects to it. So this was on, well, actually, this was not on my TBR list for January. It was actually on my TBR list for February. But as I was physically reading some books in January, I always like to have an audiobook on my phone that I listen to on my Libby app, so that when I am in the car or if I'm at home and I'm doing laundry or washing dishes or doing chores or anything and I'm up and about and can stick my AirPods in, I can be reading a book by listening to it on audiobook. And so as I was searching for an audiobook to listen to, I decided to go through some of my physical TBR, books on my physical TBR list to see if any of them were available on audio. And this one was. So I bumped it from February to January. I listened to it on audio, but I do have the physical book here in my hands, and it will be in my PangoBooks shop for sale. This is a paperback. It was about, well, it was exactly 333 pages. I can't remember how many hours on audiobook, but anyway, I loved it. I love historical fiction. I love books that are written that are set in the South. I'm from North Carolina. So I love any type of book that is set in the South. And this book was set in the fictional town of Wicklow, Alabama. It was nestled in the mountain shadows of Alabama. And our primary characters, there's two primary characters really, but the back of the book talks about Anna Kate. And Anna Kate is a young, I think she's 26 or 27-year-old, who she has returned to this town. She did not grow up in this town. Her mother did. And her grandmother, Granny Z, owned the Blackbird Cafe. And there's a little something about the Blackbird Cafe. The Blackbird Cafe sells blackbird pie and other pies. Now, blackbird pie does not have blackbirds in it. I'm just prefacing that. But that's what they call it on their menu. But there is a little magic in one of the ingredients that they use to make their pies. And anyone who eats their pies will dream, if they're open and they believe, they will dream about their loved ones who have gone on before them. And Anna Kate's grandmother, Granny Z, has passed away. And she has inherited the cafe. And as one of the stipulations of the will is that she must come to Wicklow and run the cafe and live in the town for at least 60 days before she actually gets the inheritance and the other money or whatever she would have gotten from her grandmother before she can dispose of the cafe and sell it. Her grandmother stipulates that she has to come and live there and work. And so she meets several other people. There's other characters that are in the book that you meet and grow to love. But it is a whimsical, cozy, set in a little southern town, historical type fiction, fantasy, magical book. I know that was a mouthful, but 5 stars. I loved everything about it. I loved the characters. I love getting to know the characters and how they developed. I actually even loved the magical fantasy aspect of this book. The author made it very, very believable. It's not one of the fantasy books where there's dragons or anything like that. But there's a little magic in the pies. And so to me, that was very believable. Kind of a spiritual aspect to it a little bit. But I loved it. It actually, I have really become a fan of Fannie Flagg. She writes a lot of books that are set in the South, in little southern towns. Fannie Flagg is from Alabama, so some of her books are set in Alabama. This book was set in Alabama. It reminded me a lot of Fannie Flagg's writings, and that might be why I loved it so much. But if you like that type of book, I gave it a 5-star. Absolutely loved it. Would highly recommend Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe. And my link to my Pango store will be in the description, and it'll be for sale if you're interested in purchasing it. Y'all have a great night.